What you frowning for is my need. Better let's talk about it. Oh, better let's talk about it. What's eating you up? Or you got some baby mama issues you're dealing with? Better let's talk about it. You're 2-year-old, it didn't.
This week, I found cause to worry about young men.
Good evening.
All right, so it's great having you guys here. The show's been running for quite some time. This is the Darkpore Show. It's a show that helps people start relationships, careers, make good business decisions. And we have a long time. Okay, for some reason, when we connect your video, you seem to. I'm not so sure. Can you just try to come back on? Okay, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, because I'm back on right now. Okay, great. That's fantastic.
Okay, so we have quite a couple of emails that people send in into the show. The way the emails is, so the way today's show is going to go, we'll take a look at some of the emails, and there are quite a couple of things that people have. They're young people, they're faced with the challenge, and how do they judge and make like business career decisions? And we have quite a couple of, it's an entire conundrum, spanning from marketing problems to strategy problems to HR hiring problems, right? So we'll be jumping into it together. Is there anything you want to say to our guests before we get the show started today?
Just sit and watch and live.
Okay.
Because I think there's going to be a lot of advice or suggestion for their problems, like last time. So
yes, so this is going to be a great. It's going to be a packed show. A lot of times you don't have opportunity to. A lot of times you guys don't have opportunity to talk to people who are like professionals. Everybody seems to be so busy about their things, day-to-day activities. Yes. So let's just jump into the very, very first email. So this is the very, very first email. that we received. Okay, so I'm going to allow you to
Okay.
I'm going to allow you to grab this one. Are we good?
We're good. Okay, for the first email, one of my responsibilities as a product marketer specializes in spices and seasonings. That's the person's business. For the company is to introduce our product to the market and stores. I specifically target the modern market because although our company has been in the business for about 10 years, it is still relatively new to modern stores. Fortunately, I have been able to activate our products in a well-known modern stores, but I don't want to give up too soon due to the numerous no's I receive when trying to introduce our product to some major stores. Our product is fully accredited, has received FDA approval, has excellent packaging and highly quality content. So the person's question now is question one. He has two questions actually. So the person's first question is, what more can I do to help promote my company's products until they are ready to subscribe to the initial market activation? That's the first question. And the second one is, while introducing the company's product to a particular store, they requested that we private label our product for them with their own given name. Is this advisable to convince my company to venture into this while we're still trying to promote the company's original brand? So that's the two questions the person has.
This person actually has a lot of questions. So let's just pick the essential points. The very, very first thing is saying is that one of his responsibilities, this person is asking. Somewhere underlying these questions is, I guess, there's a fear that this person is afraid that he's going to lose his job or so. All right, because of the way the question is phrased. So let's just take a good look at the question. The essential things that are being asked. This person is a product marketer, all right? And for most of you, when you're starting out, you'll find out that some of the jobs that are kind of out there, it's either marketing jobs, direct sales agents, most organizations, all right? And there are people they call product activation. The summary of that big grammar or that big English is that they are meant to introduce products into new markets. Yes. So when they say product activation, it's not as if they are plugging anything anywhere. The person is purely a marketer, and he's not selling to existing customers. Right? His goal is to find new customers. For example, if the person is not so clear cut, but let's assume what they are selling is palm oil, for instance. So this person is a palm oil sales rep.
I think he was specific about what they said: spices and seasonings.
Okay, spices and seasonings. Yeah, okay, so that's like pepper and...
Yes, exactly.
All right, so and a lot of times when you have this kind of jobs, you have those very, very large sounding names. But the summary of it is this person's goal is to sell the same pepper and old-fashioned spices that our mothers used to cook.
Yeah.
All right, to new markets, to new stores. Okay, so you're back. Yes. So let's just add you to. So what do we have so far? We have somebody who is a marketer, and the job the person has a job to introduce spices and seasonings to new markets, particularly modern markets. All right, because the company has been in business for like 10 years, so there are lots of supermarkets that this person can't sell to. And he says that fortunately, he's been able to activate, meaning that he's been able to introduce his product to a few well-known modern stores. So the question he's asking right now is this. It gets a lot of no's when he gets there, all right? His product has received the NAFDAC approval. I don't know why they put FDA approval, NAFDAC approval. And it has excellent packaging, high-quality content. So he's asking the question, how can he better promote his company's product until stores are ready to kind of buy more, place more orders? And then secondly, every time this person is trying to introduce the product, the stores keep telling him or her that
they should private label the product.
So, for example, if I think the store is kind of like ShopRite, rather than buying from them, ShopRite doesn't have to supply the product to us, but with ShopRite packaging.
Okay, so it's I'm trying to understand. It is let me say there's a red spice now, And if you are selling to ShopRite, they want it to be like a blue spice now, like their own label and everything. That's what they are saying.
Let's assume the name of the spice is the packaging of the spice is Osato spices.
Okay.
And then when you get to the store, all right, they want the spices, they want you to label the spice in the name of the shopping mall. They don't want you to put your brand name on it, basically. Okay, so he's now asking that should he convince the store, his own company, to venture into that? That's what he's asking. Should he convince his own store, his own company, to venture into private labeling? So that's the very, very first question. And then, okay, I think those are the two questions. While we wait for Mr. Boyega to join us back. Okay, so we have
yeah. So okay, great. And I think I'll start from the question 2 because that seemed pretty strange there, but it's actually not strange. And in the industry, it's called white labeling. And if you're a producer, you're really not bothered with white labeling so much because you're not losing money. At the end of the day, your accounts will still show the volumes you make and you sell. Now, why does white labeling exist and why do some supermarkets want you to do that? For instance, you can walk into Tesco's or Marks and Spencer's in England and you can buy coffee that's branded Marks and Spencer's. You can buy coffee that's branded Tesco's. So it happens all over the world. It's not a new thing. And why is this the case? It's simply that when you white label for a supermarket, they buy the products from you outright. But when you bring your own brand, you then put it on their shelves. And it is only after they sell
We lost him again.
Okay, I think we lost him again. He was talking about white labeling and all that. While we get him back on the call, so while we wait to get him back on the call, let's just a couple of things. Back to the question. Okay, I have no idea exactly as to what he was about to conclude with, but the concept of white labeling is something that's pretty much everywhere. You have a lot of supermarkets that would rather prefer to sell products with their own name. Okay, they want to own like brand, they want to have their own brand name on products. And I guess that's kind of like it makes it slightly easier because to sell the product, and people have already come into their store. Then the same people who have come to their store, it's easier for you to convince those people to buy more because you already have the brand name, and since they trust the store itself, they probably will trust the brand. There are a couple of issues I can see with this, and when it comes back on the call, I guess we would have to address the issue because it means that it probably might be easy to replace you because there's a bit of that too. Because if you're selling a particular kind of spice, and then for some weird reason, somebody can sell that particular spice cheaper than what you are offering. Since basically what you are selling to them is the commodity without a brand.
Yeah.
It makes it easier for them to have like multiple vendor supply. We'll come back to this, all right? So that because we can see that Mr. Boyega is having difficulty connecting to Raphael. We see you, but you're having yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you
now.
Okay, so what I decided to do was to switch off my camera because it seems the bandwidth is pretty low and the video is what is causing me to be thrown out. There's some warnings to me telling me about the low bandwidth. So I think it's easier to be heard this way. And when I'm not speaking, I can put on the video.
Okay.
So that way we don't experience the lag anymore. So do I continue with my response to the second question?
Yes, your response. You were speaking about white labeling and that stores do that a lot, particularly Tesco's and the rest. So
Yes. Okay. So that's right. So it's not a new thing, but what I hear when I read this, except this is summarized by the marketer.
Mr. Boga, we've lost you again. So sad to
So
to.
definitely it's not the
I don't think it's the
video. I think it's
Raphael.
his connection.
Raphael, if you
I think it's back.
Needs to look at his competitors. Are there other spice brands that are white labeling? Are there others that at this stage are essentially talking to other supermarkets or other large distributors, and even white labeling for distributors, not necessarily for supermarkets? So what is the competitive advantage of white labeling, and what can it do to their volumes? These are the things that will convince the company in anything, as much as what needs to be done. So that's what I mean by a science. There must be something behind, some numbers and some figures that speak to volumes to be able to justify changing marketing tactics.
I think that this
So I
person,
hope
Mr. Boga, I think this person, there's
yeah.
also another angle we have to look at. I think this person is scared for his job. All right. I think this person is a bit scared for his job, and I think we have to address that too, because
So for me, he needs to show that he has capacity for the job, and the way to show that capacity is to be able to speak to numbers, not just. It will sound like sentiments if you come to me and you tell me we can sell more if we white label our products, and my first question is going to be, how much more? Okay, what's the benefit? Do I have a competitor who is also white labeling? And those questions need to be answered. So if he comes or he goes to his company or his boss and he speaks that way, his boss will be convinced that he knows what he's talking about and he's done enough research for the market. That is a key thing. That is a key thing.
Okay.
More than anything else.
So your own advice, your advice to this person right now is that the person has to do research to see if selling to the store with the store's brand names would add more business to the organization.
Exactly. So it simply means, it simply means I'll be much better convinced that he knows what he's talking about and he understands the market. Then I'm not going to fire him. I'm going to keep him because he has the capacity to understand and study the market and to come out with solutions to challenges. That's the thing. And those solutions are not whimsical. They are backed up by numbers and figures. Because at the end of the day, it's the bottom line that matters.
All right. Can we quickly go? Let's quickly go to the second. So effectively, what you just said today, for those who are just joining us, we see quite a couple of people in the chat. For those of you who are joining us, please put your name in the chat where you're watching this from. We're having a conversation with Mr. Adeboyega Adebaju. He's a business consultant, a corporate strategist, and he has consulted and trained at the Enterprise Development Center of the Pan Atlantic University, Lekki, for quite some time. So today we're discussing how to judge your business and career decisions, and we're going through emails that people have sent in. Okay, so we just completed one email in which a particular person is asking whether you should push for his company branding their products in the name of the stores that they're selling into. All right, so today we're going to go to we're entering into the next email. So let's quickly go to the next email and take a look at it. So,
Okay. This particular email, the person has like different questions.
okay, so the person has different questions.
Yes.
All
in the
right. So
particular. So he's obviously he's confused by like many opportunities, and he wants to know the particular one he should venture into, basically.
okay.
Okay, so the first one is comic book and publishing. He said, "What do I need to get my book published and make good sales on Amazon?" That's the first one. Then the second one is under architecture and freelance. He said, how do I get foreign clients with platform like
Without platforms like
okay without platforms like
Fiverr and Upwork.
Fiverr and Upwork. Then the third one is I'm a multidisciplinarian. I'm an architect, artist, and prospective tech guy. I try my best to balance my life, but what do you suggest I do to earn more? Then the fourth one is how do I get more rewarding opportunities in all or one of the fields I'm into and stop being cheated by art galleries and art collectors? Then the last one is how do I get represented by a foreign art gallery? This person is not like kind of like straightforward in his
A
passion
person
or
has
his business or I
he
don't
has
know.
there are lots of issues in the email. So to quickly go over this, I think this person is a bit confused because he has like several opportunities in front of him and he's not sure which of them he should pursue. So, for example, he says that he wants to get a book published and make good sales on Amazon, and that book falls in the category of comic book and publishing. He has a background in
Architecture
architecture.
and freelance.
He's an artist and also a prospective tech guy, and he's wants that how does he get foreign clients for his architecture and freelance projects without using platforms like Fiverr and Upwork. He's also saying that how does he balance the architect and the artist and the prospective tech guy within his life, and at the same time, what suggestions do you have for him so that he can earn more? Then fourth, he says that how does he get more rewarding opportunities in all or one of the fields he's into and stop being cheated by art galleries and art collectors? And then finally, how does he get represented by a foreign art gallery? So those are like the essential summary of this particular email. The email was longer than this, so I had to condense it. Mr. Gwiwa, did you hear the conversation?
Oh, absolutely. I heard you and I read it through
Okay.
just as it was being read.
Before you
Interestingly,
utter your thoughts, Mr. Gwiga, before you utter your thoughts, I want to quickly get Osato's take on it, like 30 seconds, because I have a feeling that once you are done with with the angle that you want to come in, we will probably have nothing else to contribute. Osato, your thoughts on this email? What are your thoughts when you read the email?
You should just focus on one thing. That's just one because I was like trying to like rectify the whole stuff that he wrote and everything. I was like, this person just like okay, the one he knows that he does best or something. He should just focus on it because this is already a lot and this is already confusing for him. And you have to like perfect yourself in one thing first before you go and do another one. I think there was one time we were doing a meeting and we were talking about that the phrase or something, master of all trades.
Okay.
And
jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades. Then you said that was not the complete one. There was, and the complete one was okay.
I think the phrase goes jack of all trades, master of none, but oftentimes better than master of none.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's better he just like okay, I'm going to focus on this particular one to do better in this one than just confusing himself with everything that is written here. At least he's just focused on one and okay.
So those are your thoughts.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not so sure if Mr. Gboyega would agree with you. But
no problem.
Your thoughts, sir?
Interestingly, I totally agree with Osato on this. I'm fully with her thoughts. For me,
what with you?
For me, what's clear is that we have somebody who he's trying to figure out, where to put his energies.
Lost him again.
What did you? Please just mute your audio and video for now. Okay, so
you simply meditate, sit down, and write out perhaps the 6 most important things in your life.
Can you go over that?
The 6 most important things in your life will vary.
Mr. Gboyega, can you
it
go over
varies
that?
with your age.
Mr. Gboyega, can you start all over again? Because we
You'd
missed
like
out.
me to go over that again?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
because we missed out a
Okay,
particular point.
great.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to say is that clearly, like Osato said, yeah, okay, like Osato said, yeah, I'll repeat all what I said. Yeah. So he does sound indecisive. I wouldn't want to use the word confused. He's indecisive, and he's putting his energy everywhere. Obviously, from his questions, you can tell that he would like to earn a lot more than he currently earns. Okay, but that's where most people make the mistake. His focus is, I want to make more money. The focus at this stage shouldn't be, I want to make more money. It should be about, how do I develop myself into becoming a specialty person that will be sought after. When you're very good at what you do and people want your expertise, you will find that that kind of value attracts success. Okay, so for most people, you first of all need to draw up your value map. And the value map is simply about writing down the 6 most important things in your life. And it's not an arbitrary list, it's ranking them from 1 to 6. So, number 1 will be the most important.
We lost you for a while. All right, so Mr. Guega was talking about. Okay, Mr. Guega, we lost you for a bit. We're talking about value maps.
Still connected.
Yes, ODG will see you. Raphael will see you. And for everybody who is connected, please can you switch off your videos and your audios when you are joining? Because a lot of times you're coming. If you're connected, for those who are connected, please switch off your videos and your audios. All right, because it's feeding into the stream. So when it's time to bring you on, we'll bring you on into the live stream. So thank you very much. While we wait for Mr. Boyga to come back in, he was speaking about value maps, and there are a couple of things. There are lots of so what we'll try to do at this point is we'll try to pull out what a value map looks like. Okay, value map examples, and I hope that once he's okay. So you're back in. Okay, so David, we can see you behind the screen. David, please, can you put your video off for now and your audio off? If you're listening to David, please put your video and your audio off. When it's time to bring you on, we will mute your video and your audio. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, so Mr. Boyga, you were saying, we're back with you. So before you were speaking about.
Okay, so do I go ahead?
Yes, please go ahead.
I think we lost you when you were talking about value map.
You were speaking of value
great.
map.
So I believe I got cut off at the point where I was talking about having a value map.
Yes,
and with a value map, right? So with a value map, you list the 6. You could go up to 10, but I tell you, a lot of people cannot write up to 10 important.
This is gonna be a problem.
Please, if you are joining the live stream, you cannot join the live stream with your video and your audio. All right,
those important items change.
Sorry, Mr. Boyga, just a minute, please. For those who are joining the live stream, because lots of people have questions they want to ask for a speaker, please do not join the live stream with your audio and your video. All right. If you want to watch this, we're streaming right now on YouTube at Darkpore Show. You can go watch this and listen. The only people that should be in this live stream should be people if you have questions if you want to be a part of this conversation. Okay, so if you can't hear anything for now, your internet might be your internet might be a bit slow. Okay, so far we're at this particular point in time, we're talking about the email that was sent in, the individual who has multiple opportunities and he doesn't know exactly how to manage them. He has multiple opportunities, he's not sure about how to manage them. And so we have with us Mr. Koida explaining how we will go about making a decision with that. So, Mr. Boyga, over to you, please.
Yeah. Okay. So back again to the aspect of the value map. So these items are ranked, okay, because they're important to you in terms of what's most important. And it's important to state that what's important to you changes over time with your age and with your responsibilities. With your age, certainly, whilst you're in school, it's different from when you're working. It's different from what level you are in the place you're working. It's different when you're married or when you're single. It's different even though you're married when you become a parent. So these are considerations that influence your thoughts as to your drive towards what do you need to earn or where are you putting your energies. The bottom line is, at a certain stage in life over time, you're going to have so many things you need to deal with. So it's important from an early stage to start to focus. And to do that as a person, what you simply must do is the standard SWOT analysis of yourself. Okay? What are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? You need to understand your weaknesses because they also represent your limitations in terms of what you can do. And you need to know your strengths because for as long as you're always able to play to your strengths, you would always feel confident about the successes you get and you'll be able to achieve a lot more using your strength. In terms of opportunities and threats, these are situational. What is going on around you? What's the threat to your success? Or what opportunities are there you can take advantage of? But you can't look at opportunities if you're thinking of architecture, you're thinking of comic book publishing, you're thinking of something else that is totally far away from the matter of architecture or book publishing. Tech, for instance, tech is so wide and it can draw you in so much. You dump all that. Of course, there's an angle in which, if you're an architect, you use technology, but that's different from being a tech guy. And so these things must be determined. So what my advice would be to the writer of story 2 is determine your value map, determine what your personality, strengths, and weaknesses are, and find yourself a mentor, someone who's older. It may be an architect, it may be somebody who is just a fantastic counselor who's had life experiences, and I'm looking at someone who's probably maybe even over 55. And so we're talking of a father figure type of person who can tell you the truth like it is, but with your SWOT analysis of yourself, and you need to be very honest to yourself, you're already able to know what direction you would rather go. So you're a lot happier and you're more confident if you feel that you're getting advice and someone is helping you see through what the future can be like.
I want to
So that's
clarify.
what I'll have to say to
I want to
this.
clarify.
Thank you.
Mr. Boyga, I want to clarify something. So what you're telling, let me get you right now. What you're telling this young man is that he should seek. Are you asking him to seek after mentorship, or if you had to, how would you couch it? What's the exact action point? What's the exact actionable point that you're asking him to? Because you mentioned something about going after somebody who is much older. I think you mentioned that you should seek after someone who is much
Yeah.
older than him. Are you asking him to seek mentorship?
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I said, and that's the word I used. But before he does that, okay, before he does that, he needs to have done his own value map and he needs to have done a personal SWOT analysis so that he knows himself. If he doesn't know himself, if he doesn't understand himself, he cannot go talk to somebody to advise him. Because whoever is going to advise him is going to be asking him certain questions. He must know himself first, and then he can find a mentor. As a matter of fact, because he's come to understand himself, he's better off identifying the right kind of mentor that he can work with. Thank you.
Okay, so So if you're listening to this and you send this email in, the architect and the artist who send this email in, if you are the actor and artist that send this, the counsel that you're being is that you should seek after a mentor. All right. So you need to have a sit down with people that can analyze where your strongest points are and where your weaknesses are. And you also have to try to match that to the demands of the market. Because if you're a very, very good artist, but you live in a society where the markets are more in demand for architecture, it might make more sense to put your efforts into architecture than into your art. But so that's that. I would suggest that you do us a follow-up email where you can provide us with a bit more details as to your particular situation. Let's quickly go. Let's move on to. We're going to skip over story three because story three is not so clear cut. We'll go to the fourth story. Okay, so
Okay. The, f- the
the
fourth
fourth story
story.
is like sales related, sort of.
Okay, the fourth email we got is from Cletus, and he's saying there's a friend of mine that is into grilled food, especially chicken and croaker fish and Irish potatoes chips. Before now, his business was booming well. He used to sell up to 7 cartons of soft chicken and croaker fish a day. But right now, the economy is seriously affecting the business. He doesn't have sales as before. He's even struggling to sell a carton of chicken now. What can he do to improve the sales? That's his question. What can he do to improve the sales?
All right, so those are the question. Did you get that, Mr. Boyga?
So, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I wanted to know that I could start speaking to that. And you see, I'm smiling. I'm smiling here because the problem is not unique to him alone. A lot of small businesses are experiencing a significant drop in volume. And the reason is simply because the purchasing power of customers has not increased. And so people would spend money first on survival before they spend money on what they view as luxuries. And this will be based on whatever customer segment he's dealing with. Now, grilled food, chicken, croaker fish, and Irish potatoes. Is he doing this on the roadside or is he doing this in a restaurant? If you're on the roadside, there's a separate customer segment than if you were in a restaurant. And so if you're roadside, the people who will typically buy from you do not have the excesses in terms of finance, and probably are readjusting their expenses. So what you sell may actually seem like a luxury, especially if it's going to be cheaper to just cook at home. So there's really nothing he can do about that. He may decide, if he does not want to fold that up, to start thinking in terms of, is there something else they can buy that is affordable, that I can produce, that I can grill? Should I continue grilling, or should I find some other type of food to sell? Food would always sell because people would always eat. Some may not even be able to afford 3 meals a day, but you will find that food would always sell. And so he needs to rethink that. Affordability is a key thing in terms of driving demand for small businesses. So look again at your customer segment where you are. What do people need that you can produce or you can buy and sell to them? Is it in the area of food? Does it require food that is prepared, or does it require food that is sold fresh? That's what he needs to do. He needs to rethink that. It's as simple as that. But if people are already reducing their purchases, then clearly priorities have come into play, and people don't consider it important to be able to buy that. Thank you very much.
All right. So at this particular point in time, we have a couple of people who have joined our video. I don't know if they want to sound off. Perhaps if you're in the video chat and you probably have like you're dealing with a similar situation. Okay, so we just spotlighted an opportunity right now. What we spoke about is a gentleman who sent us an email, Cletus from Oronshoke, Lagos. He's concerned for a friend of his who is selling grilled food, specifically chicken, coca fish with Irish potato chips. All right, because the business was booming before and he used to sell up to 7 cartons of soft chicken and coca fish a day. Well, right now, the economy is seriously affecting his business and he doesn't have sales as before. So he's even struggling to sell a carton of chicken now. I don't know why Cletus is particularly bothered for his friend. Probably it's because if there's 7 cartons, Cletus may not be able to get something small because now the guy is selling 1 carton. That's on the lighter note. So if you find yourself in this situation, you are running a small business and the economy has affected you, and you probably just want to support, explain exactly the impact you are feeling also. You can just quickly signify. I see ODG in the chat. ODG, how you doing? Hello, ODG. Do you find yourself in a similar situation? David? Hello, David.
Good evening. Can you hear us?
Yes,
Is that David? Is that David?
Yes, that's David.
Okay.
Okay,
I can hear
David.
you guys clear now.
Okay, you can.
I think I joined a bit late. So
Yes, you can join with your cameras. We just want to quickly
Okay.
talk. Are you in a retail position? Do you have like a retail business in which you sell?
not exactly. I run business and it's a service that I sell.
Have sales dropped in your business recently? Have you noticed a drop in?
Yeah, basically because of the economic downturn, there's a drastical drop on sales. But then we've been able to find a solution to that.
What
we
did you
actually
do?
did,
Okay.
what we actually did is that we run, just like I said, we run services. So we're able to talk to some venture capitalists who can actually help us, expand our business because we have these local, raw materials that we're using in making our products and services, and then we felt like if we could go a little bit more advanced, maybe people will probably and then increase, just like the other person as the coach has rightly said, the customer segment, be able to reach out to the top big men within our community, and we're able to reach out to them via the venture capitalists that we're able to talk to, and then they are promising us that they're going to start patronizing us, and then so because of those venture capitalists that we reached out to, they were able to support us in regards to some funding and all, and then they talk to some of their friends too that are also in need of our services, and so we're able to sell to those people, those A-list people, and they're able to afford, because affordability was one of our problems because of the purchasing power, as rightly
Power
said.
of people.
Because
Okay,
people were unable to
so let me get you right now. One of the things that you did was you went after like a new demographic. You went after a new category of people that you weren't selling to before. Hello. All right, David is back. Okay, so David, we'll still take your thoughts back on that. Let's just get on with the show. Okay, yeah, he's back.
Hello.
Can you hear us now?
Can you hear us right now? There are a couple of things with your video. Right, but we've gotten the gist. So for those who are just joining, and you're wondering exactly what exactly are we discussing, for those who are just joining, so let me just give you a brief lowdown. Cletus from Oronshoke sent an email because of a friend of his, the croaker fish and the Irish potato chip business was experiencing a decline from 7 cartons a day. They were doing they
couldn't even sell one.
They couldn't sell one. And so he's a bit concerned for his friend and he's asking what can his friends do. And the general submission that we've had so far is that his friend has to take a look at the purchasing power of those people that were buying before. And if you may have to go after a new market, all right? If you are selling to people who were buying from the roadside, you may have to shift locations, shift to neighborhoods where people can afford a bit more money, because generally most people's capacity of people's spending power has reduced, right?
Yeah.
Loaves of bread that used to cost like 1,000, that used to cost about 250, 300 naira, are going for about 1,200 naira now, 1,516. You even have loaves selling for 2,000. So the money that people would have used to buy coca fish and Irish potatoes from you, they rather prefer to spend it on other things because they can buy less with their funds. So you may have to look to neighborhoods that have a bit more purchasing power. You may have to shift from your target market. We'll come back to that because Mr. Goiga is still here. Let's quickly go to. We have one email. We have a particular email, and this one is a bit interesting. This particular email is a bit interesting, so let's just jump into it.
Okay. For the for the fifth email, this one is from Moji. To fund my baby girl lifestyle, and I have never been one that knows how to ask or beg for money from anyone, even my parents. It's like there's a huge lump in my throat or chest. I love the expensive minimalist lifestyle, and I want to get side hustle to top up my income so that I can afford the comfort I deserve. I need a business idea I need business ideas that won't affect my job, which is a 8 a.m. to 4, 8 to 4, basically.
While we were reading this email, some comments came up about the kind of business idea that a 25-year-old girl, a 25-year-old lady can engage in that won't affect her 8 to 4 job. Do you want to get into it? Because she's right in your demographic now. She falls within your demographic. Your thoughts on this?
I don't.
Mr. Goiga is going to go last on this particular email, but I want to hear your thoughts because this is somebody who.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. She's obviously not, because she did not indicate in this email that she's taking care of anybody, just herself, and she's saying that 130k. I know that things are like quite expensive now because with the whole economy and everything, it's crazy. But for her not to be people are receiving less than this. Like, in fact, some people just go home with like 2k a day, and they are not saying they want to do another. We all know where she's pointing at, but I can't really say that.
No, you can say that. Just come out straight. This is a very, very practical show now. Just come out straight.
But we know what she's looking for aside from this other business idea, because obviously she cannot even, like, I don't know, it's going to be very difficult for her to like start up another business, except it's like on weekends and all these things that she wants to do the business. So for her to like find a proper business that she wants, because her time schedule and everything is already tight from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. is already like very tight for her to like say she wants to do any other business again aside from weekends. Maybe that time she will be like, okay, I want to rest and all. She that is even saying that she likes the baby girl lifestyle. How can she like keep up with this whole routine and everything? I don't think she can. So I think there are other things that she wants that she's not saying, basically.
Okay, so I'm going to add ODG to the chat. ODG, I'm going to add you to the chat right now. Do you want to comment on this?
Mojisola, come out straight. What do you want?
And then also David as well. Mr. Boyga, you go last on this. I just want to hear the thoughts of the gentlemen, the much younger people. What are your thoughts? Mojisola is 25 years old. She works in a good law firm, earns 130 grand per month. But she said it's not enough to fund her baby girl lifestyle, and that she doesn't know how to ask or beg money from anyone, including her parents. So she loves the expensive minimalist lifestyle, and she wants to get a side hustle that can top up her income so that she can afford the comfort she deserves.
Yeah, she deserves.
And she said she needs business ideas. The question is this: she needs business ideas that will not affect her job, which is at 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So, is there anybody in the comments chat that has business ideas for Mojisola? Okay, so I can't see. ODG is not responding. David is not responding as well. Okay, so Mr. Boyga, your thoughts on this?
Straight away, maybe I'm too old-fashioned to understand what a baby girl lifestyle means.
Okay,
but I do.
Before
I do sense.
I think we should qualify it.
No, it's fine. You see, I was just no. Let's leave Osato. I mean, Osato's laughter tells me a lot, and like she already implied. I can take the words and see or understand the meaning behind them. Especially when
There's
she
actually a
talks about
definition for
the
baby girl
lifestyle
lifestyle.
she deserves.
Mr. Boyga, sorry, but there's a definition of baby girl lifestyle.
Doctor,
Give me the definition.
let's not go let's not go
Okay,
into that except it's for the benefit of others. But I'm absolutely
okay.
fine. You know, with that. So I look at what the request was, and I hear to the lifestyle I deserve. And I'm wondering, okay, so first of all, the big question is, what have you done to deserve this lifestyle you're talking about that you don't have at present? If you deserve it and you've done the right things, you'll probably be there right now. Okay. I sense somebody wanting more than what is available and what she can afford. And I think that's a very important lesson, because I wouldn't even want to put her in a management position in an organization at this stage, not without her learning to understand a lot more. There's a story, or there are lots of stories that demonstrate very well the importance of delayed gratification. And a lot of young people need to understand that. We talk, I hear a lot of talk, oh, I want to make money, I want a job that pays this much, I want a job that pays that much. That's not what life is all about, because if you do not build up on the right foundations, you can rise too fast and then you are unable to sustain the level at which you find yourself too early. So, what's she doing to develop herself professionally? Does she even want to? She's a lawyer, so what does she want to do with that? That profession. What does she want to do with that skill or that knowledge? She doesn't even have any skill. I wouldn't dare say she's got the skills. Okay, probably knowledge at this stage. So what's going to be done with that knowledge? You must build up and build up a career to be able to afford a particular type of lifestyle. This is also coming at a time when inflation is in the 30s. Okay, so if things are increasing by a third every 3 months, it's clear to everyone that prices are going to be out of reach, and obviously remuneration isn't going as high as that. If the man who's grilling Irish potatoes, chicken, and fish is not getting customers to buy, that's telling you that some people are starting to adjust their lifestyle based on their affordability. Now, here's somebody who clearly does not have affordability and wants a large lifestyle. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And it's not about business ideas. Business ideas no one is going to tell you this is a business you should do. It's the wrong way to do business. It means you do not even understand yourself in the first place. Okay, I find people coming to me at times and asking me, what business should I do? And the answer is very simple. What business can you do? Okay, and they then don't even understand what business is all about. Business is all about solving a problem. So until you can identify a problem to which you can provide a solution, and in providing a solution that's creating value, you can then charge a fee for that solution which you provide. And if somebody really has that problem and is happy with your solution, that person will put a hand in a pocket or handbag and pay you for the solution. Now, that is what business is all about. That's fundamental to any business. Okay, there's no coming up and wishing that I can have a particular lifestyle, right? But it's not going to come. You've got to.
Okay, we all right. So we can't hear you right now. I'm sure you'll connect very, very short. Okay, you're back. Yes.
Back.
All right. So you were saying.
Yeah, I'm surprised that I left. I actually thought I was out there. So essentially, what I was saying is that there is no you can't wish for the lifestyle and get it. You've got to work towards it, and it takes time. It's still early days yet in her career, so she's got to make those decisions to stick to that career and to build it up. Please let her know there's nothing to show that she deserves that lifestyle. I'm not convinced she deserves it. Just because you're 25 and you're a lawyer doesn't mean you deserve that lifestyle. No. And interestingly, from what she said, even her parents can't afford that lifestyle for her. So how does she deserve it? I think we should be talking to her about focusing on her career, developing herself, deepening her knowledge of law, enhancing the skills she has, and becoming a valuable person in terms of a lawyer that has a certain expertise. Then she'll get paid enough money, and when she's paid enough money, she can do whatever she likes with the money. Thank you.
Okay, as follow up to that, we have a couple of comments. So let's just really take a comment. Fun Splash is here saying that what 30k, 130k, what else do you want? Madam, say the truth. Fun Splash also follows up and she says that ever heard of cutting your coat according to your size? Please let me read out the rest of the comment.
Okay, starting a business doesn't mean you get the profits the next month, except you want to be buying Prada with your capital or any small sales.
Okay, so I think that's also generally most of the people in the comment section are in agreement. Right, so this is what I would say. Just a short recap of all the things that Mr. Boyga said. Mujisola, if you are listening to this, we care about you, all right, and at least we're grateful that you are able to we're grateful that we're very much grateful that you emailed us. However, we're a bit concerned about the tone and the general consensus of most people who are listening to who read this email and listened to it is that it appears a bit entitled. Okay. Wonderful careers are built, they're not built overnight, they're built with painstaking hard effort over time. You'll have to build relationships, you have to get to know people, you'll have to build something that's extremely valuable that people are willing to exchange money for. Right. And I think it's a very, very long journey. Okay. We don't have rapid answers here. We can't tell you that there's a business you will do and within 6 months you'll be putting in lots of cash. Okay, because if we had those answers, we probably would be in that business ourselves. So the best we can say, just to piggyback off what Mr. Boyga said so far, is that you have to work to improve yourself. And you have to set a much more longer term career plan. You have 130 grand, and that's seed capital to improve your career. And I would suggest that you spend as much time as possible to invest those resources in researching for business opportunities that would match the areas that you have strength in. That's the best we can do. If you need more details, you can provide us a bit more details as to areas that you are interested in. But general overview of the conversation is you can't get answers overnight. There's no business you can enter to overnight. It's going to take time to research value. We have the next email. And with this one, I think okay, so I think the person who sent this email is in the chat. I suspect he's in the chat. So if you send this email and you're in the chat, the next email, please let us know. So can we quickly go to it?
Okay, the next email. I just started a website agency. How can I move ahead and grow the agency? Start with a couple of things into content writing, web development, and social media marketing. Although there's no means of payment at the start of making a profit, which is yet to be done, how can I handle the remuneration of profits among my team and also the necessary guidelines on how to manage a website agency?
Okay, so what are the essential questions that this person is asking?
How you can handle the remuneration of profits among his team, then the necessary guidelines on how to manage a website agency.
So how can I move ahead and grow the agency?
Yeah.
All right.
The necessary guidelines. I think for the he said that the money they are making is not really enough to pay the people yet. So I think he wants, although there is no means of payment at the start of making profits, which is yet to be done. I think we want to figure out how it's going to pay these people too, obviously.
Okay, so we have a couple of people in the chat, and I just want to say this: if you are the person who sent this email and you're in the chat, if you're in the chat and you're listening to this, can you come online with your camera to just kind of like give us a bit more details? All right, because we don't want to go off what it is that you have put here. All right, what summary of what we have so far in this conversation? You are asking that how do you grow your agency? You're also asking that how do you ensure that you can pay? How do you ensure you can pay the teams? You have a group of teams that you do content writing, you do web development, and then you social media marketing. So you're asking how do you pay them? How do you handle remuneration of your teams? And then finally, what are the necessary guidelines to managing a website agency? Right. Let me go with my own thoughts on this, and then we'll ask Mr. Boyga to sound off on it. The very first thing this person mentioned, you just started a website agency. If you're going to have an agency, it's the assumption is that if you are running an agency, you are pulling in a lot of work that you cannot manage yourself. That's the assumption, that if you have an agency, you have quite a couple of work that you can't manage yourself. That's one entry level into it. The other way in is, the assumption is you have worked in an agency, maybe an ad agency, and then you have a couple of clients that you are certain that you can service them, and you can start off an agency and then you hire people to join you to service the clients. Okay, in both of these scenarios, Gabriel, hello Gabriel, I can see Gabriel is in the chat. Right, Gabriel, I think you are the one who sent this email in, if I'm not mistaken. So I want to give you an opportunity. Can you hear us? I think Gabriel is the one that sent this email in. Was it the one?
Yeah, I think that's
okay. Gabriel, so since you're the one that sent the email, can you come on camera and let's hear your thoughts exactly on what issues you're dealing with specifically. Hello, Gabriel. Hello. Can you come on camera and then? Okay, so I'm going to add you to the chat now. So let's hear from you directly. The particular issue that you have with the web design agency. Okay, so it's good to have you here.
Oh, okay. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, we can. Clearly. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, Mr. Boyga is here, and you'll listen to what you have to say. So let's hear your issue. You're the one who sent this email in, I suppose.
Yes, I am the one.
All right, so.
Okay, so I'm running a website agency with group of teams, social media marketer, social media manager, myself, UX designer, web dev, and content writer. So so far we've been trying to build the network, and we've given it the name Rise Reach Digital Consult. So now the issue is that as a team, and as the business grows and all that, I'm trying to understand how would I be able to manage in terms of, because I feel people that are involved, the teams that are involved, they would want some remuneration or some kind of, will it be that the first set of the first gig that we are having, because I believe it's still like a growing agency and I'm not willing to pay anybody for that moment. So I'm just trying to, you're laughing, Abby. So I'm just trying to, no, it's fine. So I was just trying to know that, okay, will it be that the first gig that we were having would be for the members, or we can still use it to grow the agency? Or how will I even, because I believe that I don't want to start bringing out money from my pockets when I'm not earning money from the agency. You get, knowing that I am the team leader of the whole thing. So how would I manage them and manage agency together? So did you get my
okay, so you're back. Good. Yes, so we lost you the last 1 minute of what you said, or so we didn't hear what you
So,
said.
so my question is that how would I manage the team members and manage agency as well, knowing that the agency has not started bringing out money or profits, and the team members might be feeling that maybe they want some remuneration or some salary, that kind of thing. So I'm like, how will I manage the team members and the agency together? Because I would not want to bring out money for myself, knowing that it hasn't started growing or nothing has been made from it.
All right, so that's quite an interesting conversation. Mr. Gwegwe, I believe you heard the essential summary of the story.
Yes.
Okay, so to quickly recap what's going on. We have the gentleman who just spoke. Gabriel is the one who sent this email in, and he started a website agency, and he has content writers, web developers, and social media marketing people working with him. And he said right now he can't pay them because they're not yet making profit. So how does he handle the issue of remuneration among his team, and then also the necessary guideline on how to manage the website agency? I have a lot of questions for him, but I think you should go first. I have a lot of questions, a ton of questions for him, but I think you should go first. Mr. Gwega.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm with you. You'd like me to go first, right?
Yes,
On this.
yes, because I have a lot of questions I want to clarify, but I think it's best you go first on this. Yeah, so.
Okay, so maybe there really are questions all over the place, because it helps that he spoke, because just reading his second paragraph, it really wasn't clear to me. I can't say I understood what he was communicating, but I think I get that bit now from the explanation he's giving. First thing, Gabriel, please don't assume that you can run a website agency. I think, and here's me thinking, that it's a passion, something you want to do. There's a difference between what you want to do and what you can do. Okay? I'd like to be able to play the guitar like Carlos Santana, but I can't. I'd like to. But for me to get there, and it's not too late, I need to learn to develop myself. So if you know that's what you want to do, what are you doing about developing yourself, developing the skill? And it's simply about management training, where you can get it. There are lots of courses, free online courses on platforms like Udemy that will put you through in those perspectives and give you the fundamentals you need to do to have for creating a tech startup. There's some other things I can tell you straight away. The only way your business can make money is when you have customers. So
Yes.
when I hear you saying you're just starting, if you make the first amount of money, do you give it to your group that you have now? You can't even call it profit yet. You make profit when you have deducted your expenses. So if the money you're coming has not even covered your expenses, that's a problem. You can, of course, agree a salary or a commission with your team, so that everybody says, if a certain amount of money comes in, then this is how we will distribute it. X percent goes towards expenses, or we will deduct expenses first. Then whatever is left, we will share it in this percentage or in this ratio. But one thing is clear about this: you must know the cost of delivering the products to the customer, so that you charge the customer appropriately. And if I notice that you don't have the experience of a website developer or an agency that can do that very well, I will be wary about paying you so much. So this is why sometimes you find that startups start in a very lean way. Their costs are so low because they can only charge so much. You cannot charge as much as an experienced website developer. And now I'm talking about website developer, and I realize you said website agency. So if you're an agent, all you're doing is you're linking a client to somebody who can provide them with a service, and you get a commission.
Mr.
So
Gwega, I
being
would
an
want you to
agent is
clarify.
different
Mr.
from
Gwega, Mr. Gwega, sorry to cut you here. I think I
yeah.
want him to clarify what he means by website agency.
Okay, no. It's more like a marketing agency consisting of like a market agency consisting of these teams. You understand? Like normally, I design websites as a freelancer by myself.
Okay.
So I want to just bring it together. So instead of just designing website myself, I want it to make it look like a team whereby we have members that can be able to grow or expand business or clients, not only just designing website alone. You get? So if you as a client is coming to me
So
and need what did you say?
no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me listen to
So
you. Go
it's
ahead,
not just
please.
about
Let me listen
it's
to
not
you.
just about designing the website. It's about how you can grow your business too. Like okay, now from the name of the agency is like Rise Rich, and I feel Rise Rich is gotten from the word growth. They are similar from growth. So if you are coming to if you are coming to get to have our services, you're not coming just for website designing alone. Because if you're coming to expand your business, you are coming as how will I put it, as a brand or a client that wants to expand or grow your business in terms of creating a website for you, developing it, also content writing on that particular website, and social media marketing or managing that same business. So it's just like how will I put it? I don't know if I'm on the right
You have,
track
Yeah,
you have
here,
to
but
find a way. Gabriel, you
I
have to
hear
find a way
you.
to explain it to
I hear you, and I can actually respond to that based on that. Okay, straight away, I will tell you that you need to focus on developing your website business so that you have a portfolio of clients that can
yes,
provide
yes, and that's
testimonials
what I'm
on your
working
work.
on.
Yeah, so
Yes,
that's
that
what
is
you
what
need.
I'm building
So
right
you
now.
don't need that so-called agency right now. You just need to focus on becoming known as a good website developer. When you are known and your clients like you and you retain your clients, you can then start talking to them about the add-ons. The add-ons are those things that your group or your team members can do. That's when you bring them up. Now, you do not have to pay them anything beyond a commission based on the work they do, because they are also most likely freelance persons and they're going after their own businesses too. So it is only when you work in a collaborative way, and that means that you work with them on a particular project, that you give them a commission or a percentage of the money that comes in for that
That
project
comes in.
only. So I hope that's clear. So
Yeah.
because
I got that.
they're almost like consultants to you, so you just pay them
Yeah,
based on the
consultancy.
work
Yes, yes.
exactly. So that way you don't overpay, you don't keep them on a salary, you don't need to. In their own way, their activities can actually also generate for them, so they can look for things to do too on their own. Okay, so I hope this more or less clarifies it. And to your second question as to how do you build your business, please take on those basic management courses to develop
Process, yeah.
yourself and your skills in running a business. That's what it's not about any guidelines. There are certain fundamentals for any business at all. You can get knowledge of this online on courses. And then where a website development company is concerned, you can go around on the internet and see what else are some website development companies doing that you aren't doing.
And yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's well understood. I got
Right.
it.
So do you do some search engine optimization?
No, I'm basically I'm a UI UX designer.
Okay. So all right. So that's good. That means that you have a basis to retain a relationship with your client after you've designed the website,
Designed,
because
yes,
you want to be
exactly.
able to get user feedback and to know where to update and how to improve. So once you've
Yeah,
got a client, the person is your client for as long as that website is there. Okay?
is there, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
All right, thank you.
Well,
Okay, so
That's very
I would say this, Mr. Boyega, in addition to all what Mr. Boyega has said, these are my thoughts. Most people do not realize this, but I started out my career more to, so to speak, as a graphic designer, and I ran a graphic design agency, and I actually ran a graphic design agency as a student, as an undergraduate. Okay, I had
okay. Yeah.
employees. I had employees as an undergraduate, and I will tell you this. Running a graphic design agency, I got funding to set up a graphic design agency. We had clients. I'm talking about professional organizations, religious bodies, um, financial institutions that we handle their branding, media projection, ad buying on newspapers and on radio. We did all that. And with what I know from running a graphic design agency, if I could travel back in time to tell myself on starting a graphic design agency, I will not start one. All right, I would, because it was good having to manage a team of people and employees. It seems like a good idea, but when you realize that with each person you had, with each additional person that joins your team, if you are paying them full time, right, with each additional person as a graphic designer back then, it means that you now have to keep getting jobs just to feed payroll. So you are constantly marketing. You're looking at people who have copy. You need this person. Do they need copy reports? Do they need billboards? Do they need to buy ads? You are constantly traveling, looking for people who will offer you products and services. Not just because you want to make profit now, but because you know that on a monthly basis, there are salaries that have to be paid. And a huge bulk of the things I was doing then as a graphic designer, I could run it without a team. I could have done it without a full-time team, rather. Okay, so I would tell you this because my own emphasis on the email is the part where you stated that you want to grow the agency, you want to start with a group of teams into content writing. All right, when I did the training, Mr. Agboyega was one of our facilitators at Enterprise Development Center in 2014, 10 years ago. And one of the things he said was then, and is that particularly when you are starting without clients, when you are starting without already established funding, you have to ensure that you only bring people on to work on projects that you already have funding for. That means that the only time you hire people is if you have a job. If you don't have a job, you don't hire people and keep them full time. So my own thoughts is the concept of profit among people. You should use people I think you should engage people on a freelance basis. If you do not need people to work with you full time, if it will not be cheaper having them working with you full time, then it's best you do not retain people. That way you can ensure that even if all the profit you make off a project is 30, 40,000, you can keep that 30, 40,000 to yourself. Okay? Then on the second part about necessary guidelines, I won't add anything. Just follow his counsel. Mr. Boyega has given you counsel. Go online, look for management. You're not the first person to manage. You're not the first person to manage the web design agency. So just go online as he has suggested and look for those courses and complete them. Then once you are done with that and you have a specific management problem, when I mean a specific management problem now, you have a specific problem in which you hire people to deal with the growing demand. You train people in-house, then you can have that conversation. But for now, with what you have described, if you do not have revenues and what you are doing, you can do the major bulk of the work yourself. Just as Mr. Boyega suggested, I think you should just outsource the part of the job that you cannot do yourself and do not retain a full-time team. Okay. All right, so Mr. Boyega, thanks for that. We'll move on to the next. The next is
All right, thank you.
The next. So just in case you are joining, because today we are talking about how to judge your business career decisions. That's the conversation we are having so far. My name is Adefolami Agunbiade. Co-hosting with me is the brainy and beautiful Osato Eboha, and I always mispronounce his name. And then we have Mr. Boyega Adebajo. He's a strategy consultant. He's worked in banking. He consults for our organization and is joining us on this team to answer your difficult questions about your career and business moves. So we've gone through 5 emails so far. We're on the 6th one, and then we'll be starting the 7th email. And 7th email is, how do you fund your fashion brand? So we have that question now.
Okay.
So how do you? Okay, so this is it.
Yeah. It's a Fortune, a clothing vendor with over 6 years experience, has been passionate about fashion and has started designing his own fashion brand. However, he faces challenges in finding funding and overcoming inherent risks associated with entrepreneurship. Despite researching fashion entrepreneurs and listening to podcasts, he still struggles with fear of failure. He finds himself overwhelmed by the risks and finances of launching a new business venture. Sometimes feel like giving up. To overcome this fear and achievement his entrepreneurial dreams, Fortune seeks to gain confidence
And
re-
resilience to push through.
and resilience to push through and realize his vision. He believes in his importance to overcoming fear and embracing the changes of entrepreneurship. Now the question is, how can I gain the confidence and resilience to push through and realize my vision as a fashion designer?
Okay, this
Just wrote.
so that's the question. While we will take Mr. Gbega's thoughts on that, we just want to cycle through a couple of comments. Okay, some of these comments are old. They have to do with a previous, so we won't touch them. They have to do with a previous conversation we've had. So Fortune is asking that how can she gain the confidence, or how can he gain the confidence and resilience to push through and realize his vision? Okay, so one of the key things here is that he said he's been selling clothes for like 6 years, and then he wants to start his own fashion brand.
Yes.
And he started designing, but he's afraid that he's finding difficulty finding funding, and then overcoming the inherent problems associated with entrepreneurship. It's also that he listens to a lot of entrepreneurs, listens to podcasts, but he's afraid that he will fail. He's afraid that if he commits his money into launching his own fashion brand, he will fail. Because, and I think there's something which I respect about this. Fortune has said, one of the things I respect about is the email is this. Fortune actually identifies that he's launching a new business venture. He can see, even though he's selling clothes presently, he understands that the business is running, launching his own business venture is a completely different business. He sees that. So he's afraid, and he said that sometimes he feels like giving up. So how does he push through? How does he overcome his fear? How does he gain confidence and resilience to push through? All right. Is there anybody who has thoughts on this? Sagwega, are you here? Hello.
Yeah, I'm very much here. It's just
Okay.
I always mute my mic when I'm not speaking.
Oh, okay.
So would you like me to go?
Can we
I
address
thought you wanted to get comments or so before.
yes, we wanted to get comments, but I think there's a lag between the comments and so I'd like to take your thoughts on this. If we can have your thoughts in like 2-3 minutes, and then
Okay.
probably the next email.
The first thing that jumps out to me is that there's an expression of a fear. Entrepreneurship is about taking risks. So, to use a phrase, if you don't have the liver, don't become an entrepreneur. Just keep earning a salary, because it is about taking risks every day. In every way, your capital is at risk. Your business is at risk. And so your key job is always to get past that, to anticipate the risk, and to plan your business in such a way that should the risk event happens, you will still be able to continue your business. Fear has no place in the mind of an entrepreneur. So you've got to find out how you can conquer that fear. One thing I would easily suggest, and I may not necessarily be right, this is simply my opinion, is to go through management and business training. Because why or how is it that a soldier takes a gun and goes to the battlefront knowing fully well that he could be killed? It is because of his training. He has trained enough, he's competent enough, and he's been given the tools and the equipment he needs to go to the battlefront. So he's pretty much confident as he approaches where the war is taking place. Business is like war. If you know you want to face it, then equip yourself. Equip yourself with knowledge, with skills, and with the right tools. When you have the capacity, it becomes a lot easier to attract funding. And so I hope I've spoken to the aspect of fear. Let me talk a bit about the funding. I would have hoped that since you were doing sales or trading of clothing, you would have been saving your profit or part of your profits so as to accumulate capital necessary for you to create your own brand. That's just it. And guess what? Right now, maybe you don't need as much capital as you think you need. You don't have to have tailors or buy machines, okay? You can find good tailors and agree with them that they will make the clothes you design. And so, come to me and pitch to me that you can make a nice shirt for me. Show me the drawings. Show me the shirts you can make. And if I'm sold on what you show me, then I can agree with you that, okay, I'll order that shirt from you. And how much is it?
I didn't get what you just said now. You're asking him you should go to tailors and get them to make the clothes for him without paying them.
Yes. No, that's not, I have not finished what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
You get into an agreement and you know that this tailor is going to make the clothes for me. Okay? Then you come to pitch me. Okay? And you come to me and tell me, oh, I can make a shirt for you that will fit you. It's not off the shelf. It's custom made, so it will be exactly the length of your arm, your collar. The drop of the shirt would be ideal as you like it, blah, blah, blah. And I say, okay, I like it because I like what I see. And then I tell you, I would like to order. How long will it take to get ready? And you tell me, well, it can be ready in 2 weeks, but you need to make an 80% down payment. And I think about it and I say, do I trust you? If I trust you well enough and I make the 80% down payment, you then go to that tailor because you've used a certain percentage, let's say 40 or 50% of the amount paid, okay? Half the amount paid or a bit more than half the amount paid to buy the material. You give the tailor the rest of the money as a deposit so that when it is ready, you pick up the shirt, you collect the 20% balance payment, 10% of that 20%, or rather half of that 20%, which is 10% of the total, goes to the tailor to complete the payment to the tailor, and you keep 10%, which is not a bad profit margin in the fashion industry. It's not a bad return. Now, what have you done? The customer has actually financed your operations because you were able to pitch and convince the customer that you had a product that would fit or meet his needs.
Okay.
And I hope he follows that. So first of all, get rid of the fear. Get rid of it by going to learn about business management and understanding what you need to do. Secondly, funding. Your trading should have allowed you to build up or to accumulate savings, which you can use as startup capital. If that has failed, get the people who can do the sewing for you and who you trust in terms of quality. Then go look for customers and try to make those customers trust you so much that they can pay you up to 80% of the order. And then make sure that you fulfill the orders within the time that you said, because one good customer would always get you orders and probably repeat orders. But if you mess up with the customer the first time, just say bye-bye to that customer. Thank you.
Okay, so to quickly recap the essential things that at least my own takeaway from this, Mr. Bega said that he already has a background. You're entering from the supply end. You already have customers that you sell clothes to. All right, so it's easy for you. You have a retail store. You have experience there, and he's asking like first go and learn about business management, because you'd have to deal with other people you'll have to deal with people who can produce for you. All right, and he's also saying you should build a relationship with people who can sew the clothes. And when you build a relationship with people who can sew the clothes, you have to overcome your fear. Instead of you trying to create multiple clothing items at once, you probably want to start on a basis, stage by stage basis. Sell one person, create enough that one person would buy, and then if you convince that person, you can continue to sell more people. Rather than this idea that, and I would suggest, I think that that's a great idea. Rather than thinking that you have to create 1,000 or 2,000 pieces of clothing item at a go, you probably want to just start one at a time, convince each person, and gradually over time, you will build a much larger following. We'll quickly go to, we just have 2 more emails to go. So let's just, the 8 emails, there's an undergraduate that's 6 ideas for his startup ideas. 6 support for startup ideas. Raphael, I think Raphael is here. Okay, Raphael, so if you are watching this, if you watch up to this particular point, it's time for you to come on the chat and just discuss exactly what issues or what challenges that you're faced with. Okay, so Raphael is, let's have Raphael in the chat. Okay, Raphael, if you are listening, come on the chat, come on video, so that we can narrate exactly the issues that you're dealing with. All right. So while we wait for Raphael, let's read the email he sent.
Okay. My name is Raphael Iyang, currently an engineering student.
Can you start over again, please?
Okay. My name is Raphael Iyang, currently an engineering student at the University of Lagos. As a student who started teaching early at 14, I have always been motivated to ensure that students learn the best way possible and get return value for their money. But with the current education landscape, that doesn't seem to be the case. Hence, since then, I have done multiple research and collaborations to ensure that this is possible. I am willing to discuss in details more about my solutions in details. I build my startup.
Okay, so that's Raphael. I know a bit of the backstory about Raphael's story. So Raphael, you're going to have to come on camera. Let's just let's hear you. Just put on your audio and play your camera so that we can hear you. All right. Okay, so that's Raphael. So let's understand exactly what exactly is the issue. Your audio is off. You have to switch on your audio. Switch on your audio, please, so that I can hear what you have to say. Can you switch on your audio? Hello, Raphael.
Can you hear us, Raphael?
We can see you, but you have to switch on. You have to switch on your audio. Your audio is off, so switch on your audio. Okay, good.
I've switched on my audio.
Okay, yeah. So
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. So you have the floor. That's good.
Okay, let me use my headphones.
Okay, so while we wait for you to get your earphones, okay, comments are still a bit.
Is it from Iyang?
It's the one who put the comment and there's one talking right now.
That from the previous one. Since he's still trying to set up.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so I think most of everything is said there. I think at this point, the only thing that I just need is just to get an MVP ready. Yes, that's the major thing. Then one major issue would have just been to get the first set of customers. Over the weekend, I attended an EdTech event.
We don't know what
Raphael,
we
we're
don't.
talking about.
Raphael, we don't know what you are talking about. You sent an email in, and your email does not explain what your ideas are.
Okay, I think
Okay,
Fortune is
so
thanking Mr. Gwe.
your email does not explain. Your email does not explain what you're. We're talking about you as a person now. You sent an email in, and your email. This is the email you sent in. You said your name is Raphael Inyang. You're currently an engineering student in the University of Lagos, and that you started teaching at the age of 40, and you've motivated professionals to make the best way possible and get return value for their money. But with the current education landscape, that doesn't seem to be the case. There's nothing here about your business idea or your project or startup idea. We have nothing. All you have not said is you are just going to share and talk about the idea you're working on. So Mr. Boy guy is here, and then we have people who are watching the show, they're listening to you. So let's hear about your idea before we start hearing about all this MVP. And I don't know what MVP means. Okay? Before we start giving big things that people don't know. Yes.
Okay, so in summary, I guess the entire thing is what I noticed is a lot of people don't like they attend schools and they don't really get the best from it. I mean, most people just like what we have been taught in school is entirely different from what we meet out there. So what I'm just trying to do is create a bridge between what we learn in school and what we can innovate. Like at least what we do in school is enough for us to create something new. That's the main idea. So I now thought about how to link this with schools general, but I think schools have the most people that are actually willing to sit down and listen to someone. So if we partner with schools, we can always get that entire idea of like innovative or productive teaching down to people. So the best way would have, I now realize that there's something they use abroad. It's called flipped classroom, whereby you have access to videos before you attend a class. So schools don't naturally use it here in Nigeria. It's even already saying that here in our school in Unilag, they're like embedding a bit of that. Instead, in secondary schools, they don't embed that. And I've talked with some school owners, and they said that the reason why they are not doing that is they are not sure of anybody that can do those videos well. That if they know someone that can do the videos so well and people would like to watch them, then they'll be willing to accept it. So that is the basic thing that's involved in what I'm doing. Like I'm just trying to ensure that there is this split classroom where students starting from secondary schools can access what they are doing in school beforehand. And it's going to be focused more on innovation, not just explaining what they are supposed to know, but explaining such a way that it relates to them and relates to how they can make something new, or like it's not something that is abstract. It's like now, I remember when I was in school, most of what we did there in physics chemistry seems pretty abstract. We didn't know how they were used and so on. So this one is going to like relate it to real life. There are some samples already on like how we related some topics to real life, and I've shown that to some people and they're really impressed. So that's exactly what it is. Now it's that simple, but there's a lot of things involved in making it very possible. Because we will have to make the videos as fast as possible so that it can always be available when they need them. Also have to reach out to as many schools as possible. It's quite hard to market those schools because these are like more older people and they are used to what they already use. Like most older find it hard to amounts that people will be willing to pay for. So I guess all of that, and I have to do all of these things before August, because school resumes officially first. So I guess that's the basic idea. So I just want to hear your idea, your opinion on what you think. Is this something that will scale much better, or are there things that are missing out? Because I personally I do a lot of research on things that have to do with education and startup, and I keep asking people about what I'm doing right or wrong. So let me just hear from your point of view what you think about.
Okay, so let me see if I can quickly recap some of the things that we've heard Raphael say. Um, Raphael has ideas in this. He has startup ideas there to help students in schools learn better. And one of the suggestions he has is something like he calls maybe flip classroom, maybe like a platform or hub that makes it possible for students to read up the subjects before they enter into class. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you. That's it. Beyond what you have said, I am not so clear cut, and I don't know if Mr. Boyega heard things that I did not hear. I am not so clear cut. I do not understand the gist of what your startup idea is. I don't know if I may
Okay,
be wrong.
okay.
If you have
Okay.
to explain in a single sentence, can you just tell us what it is in a sentence? Please come on
No.
camera so that you just.
Okay, okay, okay. I would really appreciate if you can just go over it as you were before. So if you make like mistakes, I could just say something
I
about
just
like now
want to
so
know
far.
like the
Just
main
summarize. You said
issue.
too many things, but can
Okay,
you summarize
okay,
what problem?
okay.
What problem are
In
you
one
solving?
sentence.
What problem are you solving? For whom are you solving the problem? And what way or what product or what product are you using to solve the problem? Or what way is the problem being delivered? Those three things: the problem you are solving, who you are solving it for, and what you are building, the product or service you are building to solve the problem.
Okay, so what the problem is the first. So the first issue is students in schools feel a disconnect between what they are learning. I think is practically mostly abstract, and eventually it's harder for someone to keep up with something that they don't find interesting.
Okay,
That's the issue.
who are you selling to? Are you selling to students, their parents, the schools?
We are selling to it's a B2B2C. So we are practically selling to the schools, but the schools now disburse the content directly to those in their schools.
Okay, so
So
what exactly is the product or service?
okay, the product service are the videos that we are going to offer them. So that's the simple.
Product or service is educational videos. You are creating educational videos.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you are creating
But
educational videos that
but
are better explaining than the school than the you are creating educational videos for students that explain what they will learn in school better than their teachers can teach them.
one, and it's more focused on exactly what they need to know and why it's necessary for them to know it and
Okay,
how they
fine.
can innovate with that information. So it's not
At,
just
at this particular point in time, I think we've gone because at this particular point in time, Mr. Boyega, your thoughts on what
yeah.
hello, Mr. Boyega.
Okay, you know, I don't want to go into details here because what I hear is that I see that Raphael needs to get himself into one of these business training programs, either for startups or, that he can learn the rudiments and the fundamentals that he needs to learn. I heard when you were asking him again to try to define in one sentence what he's doing. If you recall, the pertinent question is, what problem are you solving? If as a startup or an entrepreneur you cannot answer that question properly, okay, what problem are you solving? Who is your customer? And that's a matter of what segments does that problem affect, okay, which indicates your market. Then the stage after that is to go into business modeling, but you need to go through a startup thing. And it's amazing that in the past 6-7 years, maybe even not even as early as 10 years ago, which is when we did the other one. Right now there are all kinds of programs and platforms where they're looking for people with startup ideas to apply, and they grade your ideas. They give you a form, a template to fill. If your ideas are good and it's sound and it's solid, they take you on and they take you through training, sometimes as much as 6 weeks. I don't want. There's a particular program that comes up every 2 years, and 2 years ago I ran the boot camp for that program. Everybody was locked up somewhere for a week, and then they did a pitch afterwards. And the person who, in fact, everybody was a winner on that program, because the person that won, yes, he went away with a lot of money to fund his idea. But even the other persons that did not win, there were people in the panel of judges who were investors, and they decided that I'm going to invest in your idea. I think it's a nice one. So I think Raphael just needs to get himself into one of those things. There are lots of them available online. I come across them here and there. I'm not even looking for them. But you need to start looking for startup or accelerator programs that are running in Nigeria or maybe somewhere in West Africa. Because even if it's in Ghana or in Kenya, it's possible to get sponsorship. They'll get you your tickets and get you over there. So that's what I think you need to do, Raphael. Straight up. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Raphael, you listen to this. You have your response. Just find the startup stroke accelerator program. Now at this point, I need to say something, because a lot of people have been watching. You're wondering what we're discussing. So for today, we're talking about how to judge your business and career decisions. All right, and we're cycling through the emails that people have sent. One of the things you have to keep at the back of your mind is that because of the short scope, this live stream, at most, we push it for 2 hours. We cannot dive as deep as we would, okay, into the issues that confront people. And so a lot of the advice that you have been hearing is the immediate next action step that you can take, all right, to get you going in the right direction you have to head. Okay, Raphael has spoken, and Mr. Gwega has given Raphael excellent advice. Raphael has spoken about he has a startup idea, more or less in the education learning space. Okay, but those ideas, there's a lot to confront. It's not just, there are lots of things you have to confront. There are lots of things you have to take into consideration. And just as if you want, and people will tell you that if you want to play professional football, okay, it's important for you to get into a training boot camp, because you can't just give somebody advice within 2 hours on how to become a professional footballer. There are lots of things that have to be put into consideration. You have to put yourself into growth mode, into a growth training program, because there are lots of things that you've tried to articulate that is not clear. Okay, the exact product you're designing, who you are solving the problem for, what problem are you solving? Why does that problem exist? There's one thing which I remember during EDC training in 2014. And Mr. Gwega, I think you probably would recall, you probably may not recall saying this, but it struck me. You asked the question that people always come and they say that there is a gap in the market. But the question you have to ask is this: is there a market inside that gap? All right? There's a gap in the market. There are things you're trying to do and nobody is attempting to do. Nobody is solving that problem. But are you certain that the reason why nobody is solving that problem is because even if you successfully solve that problem, you probably will not make profit? And those are some of the questions that you'll be confronted with if you enter into accelerator programs. And so just be on the lookout for it. If you go online and you search for opportunities for young people, accelerator programs, opportunities for young people, it will come up with a ton of opportunities. And I think that's the best. Just get yourself into accelerator, a startup boot camp, all right, so that the people can ask you the right questions that you should answer. We'll take the last question. We'll take the last email, and then we'll have a couple of very, very important announcements. Okay, so the last email is... Okay, so the last email.
Okay. I started learning UI UX design in 2022 during the strike period from Zurich Tech, a scholarship program, while I decided to learn graphic designs on YouTube, of which I learned from various YouTubers. I also learned photo editing from a friend and YouTube since then. YouTube has always been my friend. I post most of my works on Facebook and Instagram, and a few people, especially referrals from closed ones, contact me. But I haven't been really active on my laptops. laptop. Should I reach out to more customers or pursue being employed by a company as a designer?
Okay, so before Mr. Guiga speaks on this, I will just say this that my immediate thoughts about it, because if you look at this particular email, the email starts off by saying that I started learning UI UX design in 2022 during the strike period from Zurich.
Yeah.
Okay, so this person most likely is an
And a
undergraduate.
scholarship program, yes.
Because if you say strike
Obviously.
period, then it means this person is an
He's still a
undergraduate.
student, yeah.
Okay, and then you decided to learn graphic design on YouTube, which you learn from various YouTubers. And you said that you post most of your work, and the people, especially referrals from close ones, contact you, but you haven't really been very active on your platform because you have a faulty laptop. So I don't know if you expect us to buy a laptop for you. I don't know. Is that the question?
That's when I
Or should
saw
I
it.
reach out to more customers or should be employed by a company as a designer? So you're asking for advice. Okay, do you have any piece of advice for this person? Because I have.
I don't know. That's why when I read it, I was like, do you want us to buy you a new laptop, or there's actually like a problem? Because I don't know. I think the last part was like, should I reach out to more customers to pursue being employed by a company or a designer?
Okay.
So I think that's the basic question he wanted to say, but he did not know how to put it.
Okay, so I actually have a bit of experience with this. So I'll tell you a couple of things that I did when I work as a graphic designer. So it's a good thing because this is like I have experience with this. Okay. You don't need to have a laptop. You don't need to have a brand new laptop. I don't know where this email is coming from, but if I'm assuming you are in Lagos, I'm just for some reason, if you're in Lagos, you can find your way to Lagos. So you don't need to have a brand new laptop. You don't even need to have a brand new computer. So when I started out as a graphic designer, I'll tell you a couple of things I did. Around that time, initially I went around, I was borrowing people's laptops. So I'll borrow people's laptop. All I had was a flash drive, and then the Corel Draw installation file on the flash drive. So I would borrow people's laptop, okay, and then I would install Corel Draw on their laptop, and I'll work on the designs. I used that to learn initially. Then at some point in time, I got tired because at some point, I think I borrowed somebody's laptop at the point, and then I spoiled the power pack or so, or rather, I borrowed someone's laptop, plugged it to a generator, and the generator fried the power pack. So I got stuck with fixing the power pack. It was a Toshiba laptop. The people don't realize, but Toshiba made laptop at the point in time. And so around the time I came to Computer Village to fix the laptop that year, I think it was the early 2000s or so. I found out that there are places in Computer Village where they sell used computers, and the used computers were so cheap at that time. The computers were like selling for like I think 12,000 naira or 10,000. It was ridiculously cheap. Okay, I'm talking about computers that ran on Pentium 4. They were Pentium 4 computers. So I remember that time I had savings, so I ended up buying the tower computer, and then came back maybe a month after to buy a monitor and keyboard. And so the total cost of everything at that time probably was about maybe 18,000. If you go to Computer Village today and you want to buy old computers that you can use for graphic design, you probably will be able to get one between 20 to 30,000 naira. I'm not talking about brand new. I'm not talking about those ones that run the current set of Intel processors. I'm talking about the ones that run, you have Pentium 4 computers, which you can still use for graphic design. And so with 20,000 naira, with 25, 30,000 naira, you will buy a very old computer, okay? And you can use that for your graphic design. You don't need to buy a laptop, even though you have a faulty laptop. And if the laptop requires fixing, if it's something that you can fix, then go ahead and fix it. That's my first bit of advice. On the second part, in which you are focused on, it says that you post most of your works on Facebook and Instagram, and few people, especially referrals from close ones, contact you. but you have not been faulty. So if you fix that, you can access the device, people can contact you. Should you reach out to more customers or pursue being employed by a company as a designer? I probably would advise that you just if you can, and if you don't have any barrier in your way, if you're not having difficulty from home, if you don't have difficulty maybe from family, if your family situation is such that your parents can still continue to support you throughout school, I would advise you to do whatever work you can do on the side and complete your education. Whether you're in university, best to complete it. Okay? Most jobs still require some form of degree. Although it's not like before. Nowadays, people hire people on the basis of they're hiring people on the basis of skill alone. But it's just important for you to do. And there's a reason why I will ask you to get the degree. Because when I started out as a graphic designer, the main thing then was for most people wanted to set up their own printing press. Okay, buying a machine called the Cord. Cords were selling for like 4 million in 2005 or so. So people wanted to have their own printing press. They wanted to learn how to print and collect contracts from the government, print posters for elections and the rest. But something weird happened. Over the course of 5 to 10 years, the BlackBerry came and went, smartphones came and went, and then graphic designers who are doing print jobs, most of them lost market share. Because previously, instead of people would print handbills and hand over. Now people can send the same designs via WhatsApp and they were not printing anymore. And the major bulk of revenues that graphic designers were earning, I'm talking about the early 2000s, was coming from printing, not graphic design. That's one. So the industry can switch, and you want to ensure that you have skills, or you have a certificate that can function as a stopgap while industries are shifting. There's something else that also happened that made it harder for people to become designers. There's now a rise of AI, artificial intelligence apps. And some of those apps, you just give them the prompt. I want you to create an handbill for me with a footballer kicking pumpkins on the background while surfing in the middle of the ocean. And within the space of like 2-3 seconds, the AI app will output the graphic design that matches that prompt. I have used them before. Before designing logos probably would take me like 40-15, could take me as much as 4 to 5 hours rather to design a good logo. Right now, you can get a reference for your logo with an AI app in 2 seconds, and it speeds up the design process. So if you are listening to this, working as a graphic designer, your industry is not AI proof. You have to factor that in. Okay, so, and then finally, the last thing, pursuing being employed by a company as a designer. Most companies don't want to hire designers full time. Most of them will hire designers as freelance. Okay, so the challenge with freelance income is it doesn't come regularly. Okay, you get them here and there, and a lot more people are into design right now than previously in the past. So to summarize my thoughts, all right, and then I'll yield the microphone to Mr. Boiga. The very first thing on the issues about computers, if it doesn't cost you much to fix your computer, find a way to fix it. If the computer is going to cost you a lot and you need to replace the computer, the laptop, you can buy used computers, extremely cheap. They don't have to be the most recent. You can buy a desktop. They sell far cheaper, and you can use them for design. That's the first step. The second step I would advise you, if you're in school, graduate from school. Do not drop out to pursue a career as a graphic designer. It is not immune to the current waves of technology. And then the third thing, as you're learning graphic design, you also have to constantly keep learning because the industries are constantly changing. The people I know 20 years ago who are doing graphic design, who did not learn, a lot of them are not married right now. I'm talking about people who are right now in their 50s because they acquired the skill and then the world moved on, and the skill that they now have cannot function in the new world that we live in. So just have at the back of your mind, if you're learning graphic design, there's a lifespan to the industry. And I don't know if the lifespan of the industry is already dead or not, but it's a very, very short lifespan. You may not be able to build a long-term career on it because there are lots of alternatives. Those are my thoughts. Mr. Boiga, I don't know if you disagree with me on this.
You was speaking, it so happened that I was just checking something, and I found out that there is a particular 6-week course sponsored by the Master
We can't hear you.
Foundation.
Can you start all over again,
Okay,
please?
for people who need to upgrade their skills. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, please.
Yeah, you said you found
Can you hear
out.
me better?
Okay, you said you found out that there was a particular platform.
Can you hear me better?
Yes, I
Yes,
can hear
sir.
you. Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Yeah, yes, it was. Okay, great. It's an advert on an article I was going to read, and it's sponsored by Mastercard Foundation, and an institution is doing something they call AI career essential programs. And I know you were telling him about AI apps, and they're like, gain essential AI skills to take your career to the next level. Okay, 6-week course, 0 online for 6 weeks, and it starts on the 6th of May. It's fully sponsored, and you know, the things you would learn, soft skills training to prepare you for the workplace or for your business, and hands-on experience with ChatGPT.
Are you speaking about this? Are you speaking about this on the screen?
Using essential AI tools. Okay, so they go on to explain and a lot of other things. What I'm saying is there's a yes, exactly, that's it. You got it on your phone and you're pushing it. That's it. It's 6 weeks. You know, so why aren't people 25 getting on the training? You know,
your voice is, your audio is cutting.
Will pay you value when you
your audio is cutting.
And use those to solve problems.
Hello, Mr. Boyga. Your audio is cutting. You can't hear it. Can you start again?
Solving problems. Okay, it's clear constant now. Hello.
Can you start over again?
I can hear you.
We didn't hear you for quite a bit.
It's a good thing you're able to show it up here.
Okay.
Okay. I think I know where you stopped hearing me. So you're showing exactly what's on the link. What I'm saying is that this is a type of thing, and there are many like this. Okay, this was just an advert I saw in an article I was reading, and it wasn't even an article. So many opportunities like this. I think like him should seek out these opportunities and enhance their skills. It's simply all knowledge takes you so far, but skills take you even so much farther. And people pay for skills, whether they're going to hire you, okay, or whether you're going to have your own business and you're going to use those skills to become valuable, and so clients will come after you. There is a lot of opportunity out there for training, for skill improvement, that once you get it, you can do a lot more. That's what it's all about. Okay, like telling him, don't eat the old laptop, do this week course. 20 to 30 hours of online need. You can arrange with somebody to use the laptop for a certain amount of day, then you get it done. And 20 hours a week, it doesn't say it during working hours, like hours. It's convenient. So if it's between 12 night and 3 a.m., then help me get it done at time. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say. There are opportunities out there. If you need help, you'll be able to do it.
Okay. So that's the essential summary of. I think we've come to the end of the live stream. A couple of things. So to quickly recap. To recap some of the conversation we had. The first story, we got an email of somebody who practically is is into product activation, and she is concerned about should she white label her product, or should she supply the product with the brand. And
Modern
then
markets.
and the summary of it is that you may have to consider what revenues will come by either supplying, or what revenues will come, what extra additional revenues will come by you allowing the store brand to place their brand on your product too. And then you should analyze that and discuss that with your boss.
Yeah.
In the second conversation, we had an architect, an artist, and an aspiring tech guy confused about the myriad of opportunities available to him. And then the advice to him was that you should analyze where your strengths and weaknesses are. You do like a value map and figure out where's the best place to put your efforts and your energies. In the third email, we didn't discuss third email because we skipped that. In the fourth email, we had an email in which the person was asking, how do I increase
his friend?
How does his friend increase the sales
for his business?
Real business. And the summary to that is that the economy has changed, okay, and a lot of people who used to buy your product before, they have a reduction in purchasing power. Yeah. And so you may have to seek new people in new locations who can afford to buy your products and services. In the fifth email, the lady that had the baby scare, that wanted that she can't fund her baby girl lifestyle, the lawyer that earns 130,000 per month, and she's looking at what other also can she do during the side after 4 o'clock. And then the advice to her is that the focus has to be less on what you deserve and more on how do you use whatever you currently earn to expand your capacity, all right, to solve better problems in future. The web designer got business advice, and the advice he got was that he may have to look into management training. And if you do not need to hire people full-time, do not keep them full-time, right? Just pay for the skills that you need, okay? There is no beauty or no glory in having a large team of people, particularly if you do not need them working full-time, right? The seventh email was, how do I fund my new fashion business? And in that story, the assessment was that you may want to start out, okay, with pre-orders. Yeah. All right, start out with pre-orders. Since you're already selling clothes, you already have access to market. Start out with pre-orders for the products that you design, and then over time, as your pre-orders increase, you can increase your production capacity. The undergraduate seeking support for his startup ideas was counseled that he should look for accelerator programs he can get into, because those can provide him with the essential knowledge, skills, and you have an avenue where you will be asked the kind of questions you need to ask. So if you are listening to this, Raphael, your next step is search for startup and accelerator programs, training programs, boot camps that you can get into so that you can learn more about how to build and run a startup. That's the advice for you. And then finally, the graphic designer that needs help with his hustle. The summary of that is we may want to consider a particular program that is currently running. It's called ALX. And that's the advice for you. Try out ALX, see if you can get into ALX training, because your industry the graphic design industry right now has heavily been shifted by the influence of artificial intelligence apps, design apps. Okay, and so you have to factor that in. All right, so all in all, it's been a very, very good session. Thank you guys for being with us. This has been a bit different from what we usually discuss. Okay, usually relationships and all. This is a bit more business and tech focused. We have a couple of comments. We'll quickly cycle through the comments. One of the comments is Fortune Chidima was always sending an email with regards to fashion, whatever, and he's saying that it's really out there in the fashion business, and it's really out there in the fashion industry, and that was his major fear, competing with the other brands. And Fortune is thanking Mr. Boyega, saying that his thoughts are noted and that he will go with the pre-order strategy. Okay, we have a couple of comments from Raphael. We will not go into it. Chimsey Comfort is saying that there is competition in the fashion industry. There's a lot of, and then Front Splash is saying that he thinks that the technique is for wholesalers, because nowadays people want to see what you can do, not just drawing. Okay, Chimsey Comfort does not agree with Mr. Boyega that there's a long procedure. All right, hopefully at another day we would have a conversation around there. So that's that. Today we will not be giving out any prizes because the conversation has majorly been consulting. We'll return next week with that, but we actually have a conversation next week. So what exactly are we discussing next week? Next week we'll be talking to people in the workplace. I'll be asking them, how do you handle a terrible boss? Okay, people have questions. How do I handle from those of you who are bosses that are making unwanted advances towards you? Okay, to those of you who you just cannot seem to, maybe you are being set up to fail in your place of work. You don't understand exactly what the task is. So that's what we're discussing next week. Next week, how do I handle a terrible boss? And so if you find yourself in which you actually have somebody who you consider to be a terrible boss, okay, please send us your email and let us know. Let's know how. We'll have a couple of thoughts for you. So that's that. My name is Adi Folami Agumbi. I host the show, and thanks to the wonderful people who have been a part of this. So the MVP for this week has been Mr. Jonathan Lawal, for obvious reasons, because he helped us power charge our engagement. So Mr. Jonathan Lawal, I'm sending a shout out to you from the show. Okay, and then also Mr. Peter Nolapo, okay, for also pushing for recognition of some of those ideas. Okay, so to Chimsy Comfort, Fun Splash, Adam Adegoke, Osato, and Mr. Shitu. It's been wonderful working with you guys. You guys are a great team. I love you and I respect you guys so much. To everybody who follows the channel so far, it's great. It's been 2 years of doing this, and every single day we get better. Next week we'll try to start on time. Next week we'll be back. We'll be giving the 5k cash and 20 giveaway for grabs. If you've won anything on this show and you're yet to receive it, please reach out to us so that we can follow up on that. And then, just in case, if you're a married man or a single woman and you want to participate in a debate, we'll have a debate this week. Okay, reach out to the WhatsApp group in the comments of this video, or send an email to advice@darkpore.com. Okay, and we'll schedule you for the show. Mr. Boyga has been a strategy consultant. Thank you very much for joining us today. Okay, and we'll see all of you guys, all right, on the next one. Osatomi Bechala, you have to send the matter. You have to close out the show. Close out the show.
Okay. Before we close out, don't forget, if you are on the live stream currently, don't forget to watch our videos on YouTube. It's currently streaming. Yeah, and we have interesting topics. And if you still want to be in the studio, like engage in those topics, if you feel like the people, their opinions that they have been saying is not like valid, you can still come and like say what you want to say or add your own opinion. Okay. See you next Tuesday.
Is that all you have to say today?
Yes. See you next Tuesday.
Okay, so I'm saying see you next Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been lovely having you guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for your engagement and thank you.
I'm not sure how to survive today's show. Yeah, no, it's not me too. What is it?
I think people can see there.
Yes. It's not that big, guys. Thank you very much for everybody for listening. I'll close out the show.
And what you frowning for is my ear. Better let's talk about it. Oh, better let's talk about it. What's eating you up? Oh, you got some baby mama issues you're dealing with. Better let's talk about it. If 2-year-old is
This week, I found cause to worry about young men. Most young men are single. Most young women are not.